Hello friends, this is my video number 138. After a long time I am making a video in English, but I assure you that my both Hindi and English videos will be coming regularly to you. The topic for today's video, friends, is living in the present moment. What is it like? What is involved in it? It's a very important topic because if you really understand what living in the present moment is like, then you will really have a joy of living, the fun of living, the peaceful, happy, joyful living. One very important thing to understand about living in the present moment is that it is kind of non-transferable. One who is living in the present moment cannot share it with another person. So what I am going to do now is that whatever I want to share with you, I'll try and share that with you with the help of certain scenes. There will be some story kind of scenes, and through them we will all try to understand what is involved in living in the present moment. The first scenario involves a young man, Arun, who is preparing for Indian Administrative Services exam. He is staying in a paying guest house, and in this morning he is lying down in his bed and is looking ill. All his other friends who are staying with him, they will pass from in front of his room, and by their actions we will try and understand what living in the present moment is like, what is involved in it. The first friend passes in front of Arun's room and seeing that he is still lying in bed, asks him, "Why are you not attending the first class?" Arun says he is not feeling well. So he says, "You ate from outside. That must be the reason that you are not feeling well. So refrain from eating from outside in future. Take some rest and attend the second class." Saying that, he moves away and goes to attend his class. The second friend who is following the first friend has heard this conversation. So he also says, "Arun, you just wait. I have got some digestive tablets in my room. I'll bring them to you. You eat them, you will feel better, and then attend the second class." Saying that, he turns back, goes into his room, collects some digestive tablets, gives them to Arun, and goes to attend the classes. When the second friend was giving digestive tablets to Arun, the third friend passed in front of Arun's room. He has had a fight with Arun yesterday night. He was still annoyed with him and didn't wait or ask about Arun's health at all because of his anger that was still present in his mind. So he goes to attend the classes. In the meantime, the fourth friend also arrives into Arun's room. He doesn't just go away from the corridor. He enters into Arun's room and says, "What is wrong with you?" Arun tells him that he is not feeling well. There is pain in his stomach and also feeling feverish. So this man says, "Okay, you are not appearing well at all, so we'll go to the doctor first." So Arun says, no, you go and attend the classes. If I am feeling better, I'll attend the next class. Otherwise, I'll take notes from you and take the full day's rest. So this fourth friend says, "I can also take notes from somebody else. We'll go to the doctor first. You are not looking well at all." So this fourth friend takes Arun to a nearby nursing home where the doctor checks him up and says, "It looks like a case of appendix. This is very good that you have brought him here in time. Otherwise, certain times when the delay is done in cases of appendix, then the cases become very complicated." So this fourth friend stays with Arun and necessary treatment is started, and Arun's pain subsequently starts subsiding slowly. Now friends, this first scenario is over, and we will analyze the actions of all these four friends and try and understand what living in the present moment is like, what is involved in that. So the first friend who blames outside eating and just goes to attend the classes, his response to Arun's illness was not very correct, very adequate. His response cannot be called a sensitive response. He was so engrossed in attending his own class that morning that he did not pay attention to what Arun was looking like, what he was feeling. The second friend who brings certain Hajmola tablets does a little bit better, wants to contribute to the well-being of Arun, but he also did not pay much attention to Arun's face, his feeling ill. If he had given attention to Arun's face, he would have certainly found out that Arun was looking very, very low. So his response was also not adequate. He also did not rise to meet the challenge of the present moment. The third friend, of course, was fully involved in whatever was going on in his mind. He was already reliving when passing from in front of Arun's room. He was actually living in that past evening when he had a fight with Arun. So his response was really very immature and not sensitive at all. Now let us come to the fourth friend. He actually entered into Arun's room, saw that he was really looking not well, and then he says, instead of attending the class, I'll take you to the nursing home, to the doctor. So we can say that his response was sensitive, his response was adequate and met the challenge of Arun's illness adequately. So friends, an adequate response to the challenge that are arising out of daily living in the present moment, also a sensitive response, a response that will address the challenge that is arising directly, wisely, is hallmark of living in the present moment. So living in the present moment, one's actions are not affected by the emotional turmoil that is going on, whether of the pleasure giving kind or of the painful effect kind. They do not affect one's action, adequate response to the challenges that are arising in the present moment in daily living. So to make this more clear, let us take the second scenario. Now here is a young man who is crossing a very busy road on foot, and the problem that is going on in his mind is that his grandfather is not well. He is in the ICU in a hospital. So lots of thoughts are going into his mind. But while crossing that busy road, everything that was going on in the mind about the financial expenses, about the condition of the grandfather, all that stops. Now when he is crossing the road, his all senses come alive. His eyes are very watchful. His ears are listening to every sound that is arising. His mind is measuring distances correctly and is controlling the speed, whether he has to move fast or slow, whether he has to wait or rush. So all that is going on, and in those 1 minute time which he takes to cross that very busy road, all the activities that were going on in his mind regarding his grandfather's health, they all subside, take a back seat. His connection with the environment, with that act of crossing the road, is so complete. He has come so alive that all that turmoil that was going on in his head subsides for those moments. So the lessons that we are learning from this second scenario are two. First is that in the present moment, all your senses come alive, all your efficiency comes alive, your environment comes alive, your eyes are very watchful, very alert, your ears are listening to everything. Whatever is going on in your environment, you are very alive to that, very alert to that. And the second lesson that you learn from this second scenario is that when you are living with that kind of attention, with that kind of awareness, then whatever turmoil is going on in your head subside, takes a back seat. This is a very important lesson to learn. The more attentive you are to whatever you are doing now, whatever is happening in your environment now, then all that is coming from the past and is making you emotionally upset, or whatever you are projecting into future and becoming emotionally excited, all that subsides when you are living that attentively in the present moment. So living in the present moment involves coming alive with all your senses, with your total being, and also your environment which is surrounding you all the time from all sides, that also comes alive. So this is the second lesson of the living in the present moment from this second scenario. The third scenario, friends, I am taking help of in making clear whatever I want to share with you is the example of a river which starts as a very small stream high up in the mountains and will travel thousands of miles to the sea. When it starts, it's very small. It has no idea about its goal, which is thousands of miles away, yet it has a confidence in its flowing ability, that constant movement, that constant flowing. It knows somewhere very deep down in its being that because of this movement, because of this flow, it will reach its destination, whatever it is. So friends, this river is kind of very wise, not in its thinking, but in its being. By surrendering to the flow that is inherent in it, that is very natural to it, it knows that it will reach any destination, wherever the destiny will take it, wherever the movement will take it, that will be its goal. So friends, those of us who want to understand a living understanding of living in the present moment must understand first that it is the openness to the flow of movement of life. Surrendering to that flow, that movement, is very much the first requisite of living in the present moment. By surrendering to this movement of life, one shows inner sense of confidence, inner sense of security that life will take care of me now, and I am going to be only functionally efficient. Whatever is required of me, whatever I am responsible to do, whatever needs to be done, my responsibility is to learn the skill of that, and rest will be taken care of by this movement of life, the living movement of life. Dear friends, to understand what surrendering to the flow of life energy is like in practical sense, let us take the example of 4 young men swimming in this river only, where the flow is not very fast. The first swimmer has learned swimming, is just starting to learn swimming. He is making quite a lot of effort but covering very little distance. He gets tired very easily. The second friend has learned a little bit of swimming. He is quite comfortable in water now, but the problem with him is different. He is very afraid. He is afraid that if he goes into the deeper water, he may drown. If he goes into the center of the river and if he is not able to come back, what will happen to him? He may drown. So he has got fear. He is swimming a little bit better, but is very fearful, very anxious about what the river can do to him. The third friend is a very good swimmer, but he is sort of boasting off. He is trying to show off his skills. So what he does is he starts to swim against the current of water. He brings a challenge in front of him and then crosses that distance to reach his goal with great effort. He is a good swimmer, but he is fighting with the current of water. He is fighting with the natural flow of river, and in the bargain he may be satisfying his ego, but the quality of his swimming is full of stress, is full of those ambitious challenges, which makes his body feel much more tired in the night time, and is also stressful, anxious about maintaining his very high standard of swimming. Now, the fourth friend. This friend is a reasonably good swimmer, but what he has done is he has surrendered himself when swimming to the flow of river. What does that mean? It means that he is not making much of an effort in going through a distance, and when he wants to reach a particular place, or he feels responsible to reach a particular place, he needs to reach a particular place on the bank of the river, then what he does is, taking the full advantage of the flow of the river current, he just puts in a minimum kind of an effort, reaches there, does whatever needs to be done, and then is again flowing very comfortably, very peacefully, surrendering to the natural flow of river current. Now, those of us who are interested in really understanding, going very deep into what living in the present moment is like, what is involved in it, can learn a few lessons from all these four swimmers. The first swimmer is not very good in his skills. So a person who wants to live in the present moment will master all the necessary skills by practice and more practice and more practice, so that he is well conversant, very efficient in whatever he is doing in life. And whatever that person is doing is of functional importance. It is not like the third friend, challenge that arises in his ego for ego satisfaction. So the third friend also has got goals, but they are arising not from the needs, but from the ego satisfaction. The second friend is very much afraid of the current of water. He has got no trust that there is a natural buoyancy in water which will keep him afloat, which will help in his swimming. He doesn't trust the current of water. Similarly, in life, this person doesn't trust the flow of river and the river of life. And that is the reason that he is all the time anxious, fearful, afraid, is angry, bitter, complaining, and that is not the way to live life. This fourth friend is actually doing the job very well of swimming. Also, this fourth kind of people who surrender to the flow of river will, if the need arises, if the responsibility arises, will do whatever they need to do with minimum of effort, with high efficiency, and then go back into that flowing with the flow of river of life, which means being very attentive, very alert to whatever is happening in their environment. And if there is a need to take an action, they will take an action efficiently because they have practiced that a number of times. So friends, now the summing up time. Whatever I have shared with you in the video, there are few points I would like to highlight, remind you again. The response, the living quality in living in the present moment is of that fourth friend of Arun's who took him to the hospital. That's a sensitive, warm-hearted response, responsible response, and also met the challenge of Arun's illness adequately. So that is what living in the present moment is like. From the second scenario, we learned that when you come alive, your environment comes alive, when your sense organs comes alive, then the inner turmoil takes a back seat. So that is the lesson. Take interest in your life, value your life, fall in love with your life, and that way the attention will come, the alertness will come, the awareness will come, and the turmoil will take a back seat. The lesson from the third scenario is surrender to this movement of life energy. It is always in the present moment. So you bring your alertness to your attention to this present moment. Respond adequately. Whatever action you are doing, do it with attention, awareness in the present moment, and that's the best response. And that is what is involved living in the present moment. To live in the present moment with whatever action you are doing with full alertness, full awareness. The lesson that we learn from the fourth scenario is develop the skill. Find out the need, the responsibility first, and then respond to it with very high degree of efficiency. Swim a very little bit, as much as is needed to meet the challenge arising in the daily life. Otherwise, very alertly, very attentively surrender to the flow of life movement. In that there is a joy, there is a peace which is inherent in that movement. Surrendering to that movement, the peace and happiness is a byproduct of that. Always remember this. Then you will have a joy of living, a blissful living, and you will be able to meet all your challenges adequately, efficiently. So friends, living in the present moment basically involves coming alive in your total being with your all perception organs, so that your environment comes alive. Whatever challenge is arising in that, you are meeting it adequately, sensitively, with a kind heart, with a passionate heart. With this high intensity awareness kind of living, the turmoil that is a part and parcel of all our lives, takes a back seat and loses its hold on our psyche, on our action, on our mind, on our body. Now finishing this video here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel Happiness Secret. Thank you very much for watching the video to the end. Hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.